Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us.
DEA claims synthetic THC made by a group of criminals is safer than actual weed. Seriously. A company whose founder, CEO, and 6 executives have all been arrested for bribing doctors to prescribe opioids, was approved by DEA to sell synthetic THC. By Matt Agarist, December 2, 2017. As the Free Thought Project previously reported, one of the manufacturers of a fentanyl drug was exposed for lobbying against marijuana, while simultaneously bribing doctors to push their dangerous opioids. Now, after the federal government granted INZIS permission to make a synthetic version of cannabis, they are claiming that it's safer and more medically valuable than actual weed. Seriously. The DEA recently announced through the Federal Register that the synthetic THC made by INZIS, sold under the brand name Syndrose, will be listed as a Schedule II drug, meaning it can now be prescribed by doctors. In the meantime, actual THC containing the exact same properties, but able to be grown in your backyard remains on the same scheduling list as heroin, noting that it has no currently accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse. INZIS has become notorious over the last 2 years after 6 former executives and managers were arrested on charges that they engaged in a nationwide scheme to bribe doctors to prescribe a drug containing the opioid fentanyl. Now this same group of dangerous drug peddlers is being given a partial national monopoly on the sale of legal THC, by the group who claims to protect Americans from drugs. Along with the executives, Michael Bayach, the former CEO, was also charged in an indictment filed in federal court. Even the company's billionaire founder, John COPWATCH, was arrested in October for his role in the bribery scheme. He was freed on a $1 million bail after pleading not guilty. Advertisement. The idea that the DEA would provide a company who was caught bribing doctors to prescribe opioid drugs that have led to one of the largest addiction problems in the history of the world with a pass to sell their synthetic version of a plant they continue to kidnap, cage, and kill people over, is infuriating, to say the least. Read more. World Media Watchdog, Truthful Media in Decline, a new era of propaganda is upon us. When asked about this overt conflict of interest and unscrupulous handout to Big Pharma, the DEA answered with a typical bureaucratic reply. As Vice reported, the DEA noted in its announcement on Wednesday that it received public comments from people opposed to making synthetic THC products Schedule II while keeping marijuana Schedule I. The DEA also said, 2 commenters expressed concern that pharmaceutical companies are making a profit from approved drugs containing marijuana constituents. The DEA notes that FDA-approved products of oral solutions containing dronabinol THC have an approved medical use, whereas marijuana does not have an approved medical use and therefore remains in Schedule I, the agency said in its response. What makes this information so damning and hypocritical is that in September 2016, the Free Thought Project helped to expose INZIS Therapeutics for paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep marijuana, a plant that has never killed anyone, illegal. In a glaring display of hypocrisy, INZIS, who makes Subzis, a sublingual fentanyl spray, claimed that marijuana is dangerous because it could hurt children. At least that was their public reasoning for shoving $500,000 towards a campaign opposing marijuana legalization in the U.S. Now, they are pushing the same drug. If you want to know why there is a drug war, ask yourself, who benefits from it? Legal pot is detrimental to the opioid crisis and reduces addiction. However, this is bad business for Big Pharma and their lapdogs in the DEA. Opiate addiction, overdose, and accidental death problems might simply be avoided if, ironically enough, marijuana is made legal nationwide. This would drastically reduce the scope of the DEA's enforcement as well as threaten the grip opioid manufacturers currently have on addiction. Read more. Man holding up sign to warn drivers about a speed trap owns the cop who tries to stop him. As TFTP has documented on several occasions, cannabis holds the promise of helping opiate addicts kick their addiction by substituting their cravings for opiates with the non-addictive pain-killing properties of marijuana. And it's not folklore. Doctors have experimented with cannabis as a substitute for opiates with high degrees of success. Study after study has confirmed that medical cannabis access reduces harm from opioid abuse among the population. A recent study published in the Drug and Alcohol Dependency Journal found that states with legal medical cannabis experience fewer hospitalizations related to opioids. Medical marijuana legalization was associated with 23% and 13% reductions in hospitalizations related to opioid dependence or abuse and opioid pain reliever (OPR) overdose, respectively. Lagged effects were observed after policy implementation. Researchers from the University of California analyzed hospital administrative records for the period of 1997 to 2014. The author reported, this study demonstrated significant reductions on OPR, opioid pain reliever, related hospitalizations associated with the implementation of medical marijuana policies. We found reductions in OPR-related hospitalizations immediately after the year of policy implementation as well as delayed reductions in the third post-policy year. From the outside, this entire scenario looks like a case of Big Pharma pushing its deadly drugs while reaping massive profits. However, if we look closer, that scenario is not only made possible by, but fostered through, pharma's ties to the state. As people beg the state for more regulation, real free enterprise solutions, like legal weed, are being ignored, or worse, prosecuted. Read more. Meet the future of security. Cops may soon find themselves obsolete. Until this paradigm of government and pharmaceutical collusion and the war on drugs comes to an end, we can only predict that this epidemic of mass opioid overdoses and the war on the potential cure to get far worse.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County COPWATCH with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt-free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, if you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.